Hey, what's up you guys? Tielo Esguerra here, and today I'll be showing you a breakdown of how I edited this Captain America / Captain Peggy cosplay photo. Before we start, you might want to check out part 1 of this video, which is a behind the scenes look of how we did the shoot. For this project, I actually got inspired by the movie poster of the first Captain America movie starring Chris Evans. And I thought, whoa, what if Peggy Carter was the main character of the first Captain America movie? And here we are. So I opened the main photo in Photoshop and removed the background. I used Liquify to do some tweaking with the shape of the clothes, and I've also done some cleaning around the edges. I refined the hair and also removed the shadow on the left of the star on her chest to make it look like it's really stitched on. Then I added in my shot of the shield. I cleaned up the edges using the clone tool and brightened a bit of the star using a brightness and contrast adjustment layer. I also used a hue saturation adjustment layer to match the red and blues of the shield to her uniform. Using the brush tool, I added shadows under the hands to make it look more natural. For the background, I combined different stock photos of clouds from my archives. Then I changed the color of the clouds to black and white using a black and white adjustment layer. I tweaked the skin color with selective color. To add some dirt, I used a photo I took of a wall in my house, bumped up the contrast, set the blending mode to multiply, and placed it all around the uniform. This is to lessen the quote-unquote clean and commercial look. Next, I refined a bit more of the hair. Then, I took a picture of my mom's frying pan, turned it to black and white, and placed different parts of the texture onto the shield. Some of the blending modes of those layers are set to screen, while some are set to multiply. I tweaked the lighting of the shield using a couple of brightness contrast adjustment layers and used a layer mask to apply them onto specific areas. I did the same with the uniform, and this time I also used some levels and curves adjustment layers. I used dodge and burn to lighten and darken some areas of the shield. I also did the same thing to make the uniform look more dramatic and tweak a bit of the lighting. For some additional background elements, I used a custom brush to add bits of flying debris. I added a bit of motion blur to the debris, and to show a bit of depth, I added Gaussian blur to the debris that's farther back. I added some more details and scratches to the shield, then I redid the placement of the clouds and also added new ones to make it look more dynamic, and to also fit with the perspective of the shot. Then I added a black and white adjustment layer to the clouds, then tweaked the highlights and shadows using some adjustment layers, and I also used layer masks to apply them to specific areas. Then I applied a subtle blur on the edges of the character to blend the character to the background. I used dodge and burn again to add more emphasis to specific parts of the uniform, and also tweak some highlights and shadows of the face. Next, I added a bit more space to the top and sides using the crop tool. For the color grading, I used the hue saturation, selective color, brightness contrast, levels, and curves adjustment layers. I added a bit of vignetting using a brightness and contrast adjustment layer. I also darkened the lower area using brightness contrast and levels, and a layer mask. I also added some grain as an additional effect. And finally, some sharpening to top things off. Overall, the final PSD file size is 1.22 gigs with 140 layers and 13 groups. And although I didn't time myself, I estimate that I worked on this for a total of around 8 hours, more or less. And there you go. That's pretty much how I edited the photo, and I got to say this is actually one of my favorite works. And shout out to Elliot, she's a really great Peggy Carter cosplayer. You guys should give her a follow. And that's it for the video. Hit like if you like, and comment down below if you have any questions or maybe even some content suggestions for me. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.
Yo, I'm grounded, you found it. That's right, astounded, pounded the pavement, rave it. Yeah, enslaved to the slave ship of rap. Take it like that.